Excuse me. Second attempt. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is a good day because we're finally wrapping this up. The time has finally come to talk about all the books that I read this year, and I am very proud of myself because for the first time I read 20 books in a year. In case you're wondering about this new location and this beautiful baby right here, I'm on vacation at my boyfriend's house and I'm having the best time already because look at this precious baby. Look. Okay. Anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna be answering some questions, but first I wanna go over all the books that I read this year. So according to Goodreads, for the total of books that I read, which was 20, I read 7,173 pages. Okay, so now into the books themselves. We're gonna start with The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This was a seasonal novella about Valentine's Day. I think I read this on Kindle as an early access kind of thing, and I didn't expect to enjoy it so much. This was my first Abby Jimenez book. The book pretty much focuses on a Valentine's Day gone wrong, and we have like some neighbors to lovers kind of thing. And overall, it was really wholesome. Obviously, there's some drama going on, but it's still a feel-good read. So I gave that 5 stars. Since I enjoyed her writing so much, that made me want to jump right into Just for the Summer. So in Just for the Summer, it all starts with a Reddit post. It's about this guy talking about how he feels like he's a good luck charm. For example, if he has a girlfriend, they break up, she always finds the one right after him. So he feels like he has this curse. And then Emma, our FMC, she kind of goes through like the same thing. So what happens is that they make a deal. Their logic is that if they date, they're gonna cancel the curse for each other. But obviously each of these characters, they both have a lot of personal problems going on. So that kind of makes you grow attached to them. At least that was in my case. And it turned into an emotional roller coaster. So obviously their relationship just went from friendship to something that was so much more. So yeah, I kind of binged this and I finished it at work and I cried at work. So I give it 5 stars. And then the third book I read was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This was actually an assigned reading for my class, but I ended up liking it so much that I wanted to include it in my reading goal. I don't have any like in-depth thoughts about this book, but I just love seeing men get humbled after wanting to play God. So I give it 4 stars because in the beginning it kind of like dragged on, but it was still amazing. Next up, we have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This is the first of the Dream Harbor series. And even though it's not like absolute perfection, I love how cozy it is. There's like a little silly mystery going on in this book, and I think it made it even more interesting besides the romance. And honestly, Logan kind of like pissed me off because of his indecision, but I guess it's valid. I don't know, but it pissed me off. But I love a grumpy man of action. I rated this one based on vibes and the mental state that I was at the time, so since I enjoyed it a lot, I just gave it 4 stars. Then I read Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. Just hear me out. There's a lot of mixed thoughts about this book. People think the FMC is insufferable. I don't think that. Her inner thoughts kind of reminded me of Deadpool, so I just thought it was funny. Maybe that's why, but I generally think that the FMC was really funny. Her name is Alexis Hurt, and she finds out that she has Spartan blood, so she is forced to go to the Spartan War Academy to train to see if she's good enough to become immortal. We have some hints of a reverse harem coming up, and I enjoyed it so much. I never thought I would like that, except I don't like Augustus. I kind of imagine him as Severus Snape from the Harry Potter movies. A lot of people negatively criticize this novel because it's not very accurate to Greek mythology. But if I read correctly, I think Jasmine wanted to mix Roman and Greek mythology into the book, but I don't know. I was there for the vibes and they were amazing. I loved it. She was funny. The plot was like always something happened. The chapters are kind of long, but something always happened and it was so good. So 5 stars. So then after that, I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. If you watch my older videos, you know this book is a very big deal to me. It's the perfect romantasy without your overload of smut. I literally wrote an essay about this book for a class. This takes place in a magic world, and the aesthetic of typewriters and letters and journalism just tied up together so perfectly, and it just felt like the author was It felt like the author was throwing a warm blanket around me. Every single character in this book was likable. Nobody was insufferable. I love the FMC, Iris, Winnow, my baby girl, I love you. And Roman Kid, I will defend him forever. This book left me in shock. It made me feel a lot of emotions, so I gave it 5 stars. I think the reason I didn't cry was because I was reading it in a class when I was supposed to pay attention, but it was so good. Just gotta believe me. And this is actually rivals to lovers. Like, I hate that some people promoted this as enemies to lovers. They just call enemies to lovers everything nowadays. But this is rivals to lovers. They were rival journalists who eventually became war correspondents, and then, you know, in the war, like, they just started growing closer, and you know how that ends. So I just thought it was such a beautiful story. And if you haven't read it, what the fuck are you doing? So of course, since I love this book so much, I had to know what happened next, so I read Ruthless Vows. This one I didn't like as much as the first one, but I still gave it 4 stars. I think it was because given the ending of the first book, I knew what was gonna happen. So just going through that was kind of annoying, but regardless, I love this duology so much. So again, if you haven't checked it out, just please do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. You'll thank me later. After that, I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This was my first Ali Hazelwood book ever. And I know that even in my first YouTube videos, I was talking about Ali Hazelwood. I haven't even read The Love Hypothesis. That was my first book that I bought by her. And I haven't even read it. But it's never too late because I started with Bride. I gave this book 5 stars because this paranormal romance was just amazing. I'm usually not into werewolf stuff, but since they had a vampire, I was willing to give it a chance. And an arranged marriage, Lord have mercy. I was so happy. It was so worth giving it a chance. I haven't read Mate yet, but maybe next year. After Bride, I read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This is the second book in the Dream Harbor series, and I liked it a little bit more than the first one. I also gave it 4 stars, but more because I felt like I kind of related more to Hazel. She had a preference for fall and more of cozy environments, so even if the book took place in the summer, I enjoy reading it in the fall. She just got me for real. And working at a bookstore, my dream. Now that I think about it, this one kind of reminds me of Just for the Summer, because Hazel and Noah, they get together and make this plan so Hazel can have like the best summer before she turns 30. I think she was turning 30. I don't remember, but there are some secret clues that she's finding around her bookstore, and she thinks that somebody is telling her to let go for once and have some fun for once in her life. So that's what she set out to do with the help of Noah. It's just so cute to see how infatuated he is with that woman. So I really enjoyed this book. After this, I read The Metamorphosis by Kafka. Only 46 pages to tear me apart. The Metamorphosis tells the story of a man, Gregor Samsa, who wakes up as a bug. And his first concern was that he was late for work. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't even want to get into it. It broke my heart so much. Now I cannot even look at a beetle without wanting to cry and thinking of Gregor Samsa. 5 stars. After that, I jumped right back into Crown of Midnight. I say right back in because I started it last year, but then I just stopped, so I decided to pick it back up. And I don't know why it took me so long to do that. I love all these characters so much, but I wish they were real. So yeah, I'm taking it slow with this series, but this book, 5 stars. I was still in that fantasy mood, so I kept going with The Assassin's Blade. This one I also gave 5 stars because there was always something happening. Of course, I didn't know that it was a bunch of novellas that were previously published separately, and now they're in one single book. So maybe that's why there was always like action going on. But I love reading it after Crown of Midnight because there was so many things that fell into place and they clicked, and I was like, oh, that's what she said in this. So I just thought I made the right decision. I know a lot of people prefer to read it first. I don't care. I will not listen to you. I fully recommend that you read this third if you haven't. What made this book so special to me was Selena's acts of kindness. Obviously, we know her as this like super skilled assassin, like, you know, heartless, cold, whatever. But at the end of the day, she has such a big heart, and I just love her so much. And then after that, of course, I jumped into Air of Fire. This one I gave 4 stars because honestly, it kind of felt too long. Like there were so many chapters that I dragged on and kind of felt unnecessary. But either way, I fucking love this book. Rowan pissed me off in the beginning so much and I was like, why is he so mean? Like, why do people love this man? But then halfway through the book, I was like, I get it. So yeah, 4 stars. Then I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I'm gonna be honest, at least this first book, it felt overhyped. I don't know if the next one is better. Please convince me to read the next one. But oh my god, I gave it 3.5 just because of that ending. I should have given it just 3 flat. It pissed me off. It really did. I'm still trying to get over it. I don't feel any motivation to read the next one. City of Bones at some point felt like nothing was happening. And I said in my City of Bones reading vlog that somebody commented that it felt like Cassandra remembered that the book needed a plot, so she just started like adding random plot twists and shit. Especially that one at the end, because what the hell? I was so mad that I needed to Google. I know I shouldn't have, but you're telling me that I have to wait until the 3rd book? Girl. At least when I read them, I know that it's gonna be resolved. But yeah, 3.5. After that slight disappointment, I needed my palate cleanser, so I went with my Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levin, and I gave this one 4 stars. The first one, I enjoyed it way more, and this one, I didn't like Amelia. She kind of felt bland. I don't know, I didn't see what Reginald was seeing. Either way, I think that Reginald was genuinely hilarious, and I hated that he wears skirts, not gonna lie, please don't come for me, but I just thought it was kind of icky. But whatever, Slay Queen. But yeah, 4 stars. And then most recently, I actually finished this morning when I was on the plane, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. This is a romance / mystery novella. It kind of felt like I was in Clue because, you know, you have the butler, the inspector, the nanny, all those typical characters that you would find in those kind of games like in Immortal. But oh my god, I was not following anything at all. I was just there for the vibes. I didn't know how Ethan and Maggie were jumping into their conclusions at the end of the book. I felt kind of slow for that. And I hate the name Maggie. I'm sorry if your name is Maggie, I'm sorry, but at least in the book, it sounded like Maggie. Like naggy, like annoying. And she was kind of insufferable too. But I still gave it 3.5. It was very entertaining and the chapters were short and I ate that up. I have complicated thoughts of this book. I don't think it was that memorable, but I enjoyed it. It keeps getting darker and my camera's battery is still fighting for its life, and I just think that's kind of funny. I am so sorry about this weird change, but my camera keeps dying and I'm not letting it charge enough. But since I already mentioned all the books I actually read, I think we should talk about the ones that I DNF'd. The first one was actually Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This was severely overhyped for me. I was told it was gonna give Gossip Girl vibes, and while it kind of did, not only I hated the writing style, but I didn't know we had some cheating going on. And it's like, oh, I'm dating this person to make you jealous, but since you were dating this person to make me jealous, I'm gonna date this person to make you jealous. And it's kind of like, I was expecting more of like a love-hate relationship, like on and off, because, you know, they're teenagers, like, it's the drama. And I was like, okay, if it's like giving Gossip Girl, like, you know, I don't know. And I love Gossip Girl, and I think it's an insult to compare Magnolia Parks to Gossip Girl. So yeah, I couldn't even get past 12%. And I was very disappointed because I see a lot of girlies talk about it on their socials and they're like so obsessed with the series, and I have seen reading blogs of them crying because of these books. And I was like, damn, then it must be good. Did I read the right book? Or I don't think we're gonna give it a chance. The second book I DNF was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Since I was still kind of like riding that high of enjoying Ali Hazelwood's writing style, I didn't necessarily like the plot of this book. It's 60 chapters long and 30 of those are just them talking about how the MMC is like a cold, mysterious Swedish mystery who we find out that has kinks, but we don't know them until I don't know when, because I feel like they spent like the first 30 chapters hinting that they have kinks instead of like talking about it. And don't even get me started on her best friend who was dating this guy saying you guys should get together just because they're drunk, just because she was drunk. I tried to look past that, but it was very awkward. This was not for me. I'm still giving Ali another chance with another book, maybe with Mate or The Love Hypothesis, since I have it since 2022 or 2023 in my bookshelf, for the love of God. Like, I think I might give those a chance, but Deep End was not for me. The third book that I DNF'd was actually an arc. It's called The 12-Hour Rule. This came out in November, and I felt really bad because I knew damn well that it was short. So I don't remember if there was any hints of being insta-lovey in the description, but it was pretty much insta-love, and I hate that. I wanted to give it a chance, but it's kind of my fault because I knew that it had a one-night stand, and I don't know, I was just so excited that I had my first arc that I just decided to like overlook all of that. I don't know, I DNF'd it. It was just not for me. It was very fast-paced though. The first chapters kind of dragged on, but then after that it picked up. And it's called the 12-Hour Rule because of the FMC going scuba diving, but then she couldn't fly back home because she had to wait 12 hours before she was able to fly because it's not safe, or compression or some shit or whatever. So she was basically stranded in this hotel where she meets the MMC, and they instantly like each other, and then they dork it. But the spicy scenes were kind of like cringy, and I didn't feel the chemistry between them, to be honest. It just wasn't for me. So I had some couple of questions written down because I didn't want to do like a full tag. So these are pretty simple. I wanted to start with my favorite book overall this year and why it stuck with me, which was Divine Rivals. I'm sorry, I will never shut the fuck up about this book. Like I said, it was just the perfect romantasy because I feel like nowadays the algorithm is just full of smut and just porn everywhere, like no plot, porn with no plot. So I feel like Divine Rivals is like the perfect closed door romance. And the romance is not even like the main plot, which makes it even better. I think I have a very big appreciation for those kinds of books where the romance is a subplot. I think it's more entertaining that way. And Rebecca's writing style is really sweet. Again, it feels like a warm blanket around you. I also wanted to answer the question of which books that I put off this year. The ones I definitely kept putting off were the Crescent City series. I only read the first one and I only got like 15% into the second one. And I don't know, I think it was because I was busy or something that I just stopped. But recently I realized that I have the audiobook, so I can just listen to it whenever I'm on the go. I also kept putting off the Brothers Karamazov. It's a very heavy read and I feel like I haven't had the right headspace to fully invest myself in it. And I don't know, it feels like wine, you know, like it's just waiting for the right moment. Another one that I kept putting off was Things We Hide from the Light. I literally talked about this in my October video about the books that I wanted to read before the year ended, and I was dying. I was so dead on saying that I was gonna read it definitely before the year ended, and here we are. I have not read it yet. Maybe I'll make it January's problem. Again, I just think it's so funny how it keeps getting darker as the video progresses. I'm so sorry. I do have 3 books that I wish I read, which were Assistant to the Villain. Every time I read about this book, I always feel intrigued by it, but I always forget what it's about. But just know that it's in my mental TBR. The other one I wish I got to read was If It Makes You Happy. This one came out on my birthday and I wanted to get it and I couldn't because it's literally sold out. Maybe next time, maybe soon. I just feel like I can't read it now because it's a fall book. I know nobody's holding me at gunpoint to read it in the fall, but it only feels right and fair to read it in the fall. So maybe next fall. And then last but not least, One Dark Window. I have been seeing this all the time and I always pick it up whenever I go to a bookstore and I see it, I read the back and then I just put it back. But it's in my mental TBR. I feel like I want to get other books ahead first before I go into other series. I love how I said I just wrote down a couple of questions today, which is 3. Anyways, that is all I read for this year. Since I was able to surpass my 15 book goal, I think next year I'm gonna raise it to 20. Lately, I've been confident of my reading pace, also my attention span. So I think without a doubt, if I don't have another reading slump in the summer like I did this year, I'll definitely meet that goal. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this random ass video because I know the lighting is crazy. I'm sorry. I started filming too late. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it regardless. I think it makes it kind of cozy. I hope you enjoyed this Jap Fest about all the books that I read this year, and I'll see you in the next one.